Hello, everyone. Let me just see if this is working. Okay. We're just waiting for everyone, and we will start now. So good morning, everyone. Let's just take a few more seconds to allow everyone online to connect. And I hope you can all hear me well. Please feel free to give me a thumbs up if that's the case. And my name is Sophia, and I will be kind of your host for today's event. And I will introduce myself and the organizing team properly just in a moment. But first, thank you so much for those in person and online for joining us and for attending this event. We hope this morning will be insightful and valuable to you. And we also encourage you to connect with others. This is a great opportunity to meet potential partners, share experiences, and lay the groundwork for future collaboration. And just to make sure that everything goes smoothly, these are just some housekeeping notes. So the session is being recorded, so the recording will be made available on the website shortly after the event. We will also follow up with an email with this information. And for those online, please keep your microphone muted during presentations just to avoid background noise. But of course, you are welcome to ask questions, and this is also applicable for those in person, of course. Please use the chat function or mute yourself to speak. And just a note here that we will do our best to address all questions, but if by any chance questions remain unanswered, we will follow up with these responses also after the event. Also a note here that a break is scheduled during the session, and during this break, we encourage you to stand up, stretch, drink some water, or grab some coffee or tea. But please stay connected. So there is no need to leave the Zoom link. We will leave the Zoom open, and you can just turn off your camera, and then we will resume. And yeah, as a final remark, there is this point that all materials and useful links you will mention throughout the event will be shared with participants. And just to go through the agenda, so today's event is structured in 4 main parts. So we will start by the mission soil overview and funding opportunities. And then we will dive into the thematic session, so citizens cultivating soil health, where there will be a brief introduction into this theme of citizen engagement in soil health. And then we will explore some citizen engagement tools, strategies, and on-the-ground insights and experiences, where we will have the valuable participation of our guest speakers. We will have Jacqueline Gross from Athena Institute from Vrije University of Amsterdam. We will also have Helena Freitas from University of Coimbra as a Soilscape project representative. And then we will have Nargis Parvin from the Swedish Soil Health Living Lab established under the SHLLs project. Then in between these 2 parts, we will have a coffee break, but then we will have the more interactive parts, the co-creation and pitching. And we really encourage you to stay for this part as well, where we will have some breakout room activities, and it's mostly a first attempt to co-create citizen engagement ideas. Then we will have this presentation of the breakout results, and then we have the pitching session where we will hear from participants and we hear from you about your organization, your work, and your interests in exploring potential collaborations. And then we will finalize with an overview of the support tools that SOIL offers to applicants. And then we will have the closing and the networking lunch for those in person. So this is the agenda. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm Sofia Mendes. I'm a project manager at the European Food Information Council. And just a disclaimer, I'm not a soil expert myself, but I represent me together with some colleagues that are online and that you will be able to meet during this event. So Victoria, Alba, and Ezra represent one of the partners in the soil startup project. And a quick word about EUFIC and our organization. So we are a consumer-oriented nonprofit organization that was founded to make the science behind food and health more accessible and easier to understand among the public. And our aim is to make a positive impact in people's lives by facilitating healthier and more sustainable diet and lifestyle choices through engaging information and activities. And we do this by empowering people and by improving people's knowledge on food and health. And we truly believe that we can make a real difference to both health, people, and planet. And you may be wondering, what is the link to soil? Well, because healthy and sustainable food systems require healthy soils. And we do believe in a systems approach, and soil is a key part of that. So our work through collaboration with other partners and stakeholders aims to address the entire food system, including soil that sustains it. And in Soil Startup projects, our role is mostly focused on supporting communication and dissemination activities, as well as stakeholder engagement, and help raise awareness around soil literacy. Okay. Okay, let's go through the mission soil, and this is part of our introduction part. Okay, so to tackle soil degradation, the European Union launched a soil deal for Europe, and this is one of the 5 flagship missions under Horizon Europe. And this mission aims to restore soil health across Europe by 2030 through the development and large-scale adoption of sustainable soil and land management practices. The main goal of the mission is to establish a network of 100 living labs and lighthouses across Europe by 2030 to restore and protect soil health. And we have these, the mission soil has these 8 specific objectives. So as you can see here in the image, goes by reduce desertification, conserve and increase soil organic carbon stocks, and so on. And one of the objectives that I would also like to highlight, because it's closely linked to what we are addressing here in this event, it's number 8, so improve soil literacy in society. And all these 8 objectives that were in the previous slide are supported by 4 operational building blocks designed to drive system-wide change. And we have the first one, which is research and innovation program. So it's a cross-scale and interdisciplinary research and innovation program with a strong social science component to build the knowledge base for soil health and its support to ecosystem services. Then we have the living labs and lighthouses building block. So living labs and lighthouses across diverse rural and urban landscapes to accelerate the creation and uptake of sustainable practices. Third, we have the soil monitoring. And so a robust soil monitoring framework at the EU level and at the level of member states to track progress towards the mission-specific objectives. And last but not least, there is the building block related to soil literacy, communication, and citizen engagement, and communication and education to raise awareness and drive behavior change around soil health. So here also closely linked to what we aim to address during today's event. And we will explore also some key concepts, namely what are the mission soil living labs. We will talk about this a lot today. So soil health living labs are place-based and are collaborations between multiple actors. These living labs operate at regional or sub-regional level and coordinate experiments on several sites within a regional or sub-regional area or working landscapes. A lighthouse can be one of the many experimentation sites of a living lab, to the extent that it constitutes an exemplary performance in terms of soil health improvement. So a lighthouse can also be a high-performance site not included in a living lab. And the table on this slide outlines a bit the differences between these terms and compares and contrasts the scale, types of expected activities, and the desired performance in soil health improvement. And the soil health living labs can be applied at different scales. So as mentioned, regional or sub-regional, and always taking into consideration the common aspects that bring together the living labs. So these living labs need to tackle local soil health needs and consider the local context. So this is quite important to address specific soil challenges and specific mission objectives. And for this, living lab areas could cut across regional or even national borders, where this would make sense from the soil condition point of view. Okay, and the mission implementation plan defines a set of criteria for the selection and setup of living labs in the context of the soil mission. And these criteria ensure that each living lab contributes to the mission's objectives through innovation, real-life experimentation, and broad stakeholder engagement. And these criteria are classified across 4 main areas for living labs. So the aims, the activities, the participants, and the context. And about the aims, these refer to improving soil health and ecosystem services, targeting the mission's objectives through innovation, co-creation, and formal learning. The activities, the required activities include co-creation, co-development and experimentation, research on impact, networking and knowledge exchange, and demonstration, specifically in the case of lighthouses. The participants. Living labs should include public-private people partnership, so real users, and also the demonstration to the wider public. Finally, the context refers to the inclusion of multiple disciplines, with a focus also on social sciences. And then the context again related to being place-based approach and real-life context, openness, communication, and dissemination. Okay. And in this slide here, there is this map that shows the first result of the mission soil, and it displays the first 25 mission soils living labs funded under the soil mission in 2024 and the 20 mission soils living labs funded during the second wave in 25. And these labs are tackling diverse challenges, from sustainable farming to urban soil regeneration, and they are doing this by involving farmers, researchers, citizens, businesses, and policymakers. And they are supported with services like training, networking, and communication, and they set the foundation for the full network of 100 labs and lighthouses by 2030. And we encourage you to scan the QR code or go to the soil website where you will be able to, and to the Soil Hub, where you will be able to explore more in detail the activities of these living labs and also the context. So this is an invitation to for you to explore a bit and to get to know more these living labs. And of course, as mentioned before, we will send the link so that you can then also do it when you wish to. Okay. So we are talking about soil and soil startup, the project that we are organizing this event under. So what exactly is soil and soil startup? So soil is a framework partnership agreement that runs from 2024 to 2030, and it does through 3 interconnected projects. So the first, we have soil startup, which is currently ongoing. Then we will have the soil step up, and then the soil scale up. And the soil startup represents this first project, executing the soil initiative, and it works alongside the first wave of soil health living labs and key stakeholders to establish mission soil living labs under the mission soil 25 all topics. Soil startup, as mentioned, runs from 2024 to the end of this year. And offers tailored support for growth through capacity building, knowledge exchange, promotion, and regular monitoring to ensure the network effective contribution to the mission soil goals. And the soil project offers a comprehensive support framework based on different building blocks that are illustrated here in this slide. First, we have the support and onboard of future applicants with guidance and tailored services. Second, we have the empowerment of existing mission soil living labs by providing tools, training, and networking opportunities to enhance their impact and scalability. We also have the engagement of the wider soil health community by fostering connections, sharing best practices, and providing resources to support soil health soil health initiatives beyond the mission-funded labs. And last but not least, there is the building block focused on fostering a collaborative ecosystem that engages stakeholders to co-create solutions and address soil health challenges collectively. Okay. And so this is the main focus of soil. We have these three focus related to living lab concept and methods, to the soil technical themes, and to the transversal and cross-cutting aspects. And this all leads to the soil support actions. Okay. And this is also an important question. So who exactly does soil and its first stage, so soil startup, aim to support? And here in this slide we have an overview. We will later on, it's the last part of today's event, we will dive deeper into the part related to the applicants, but just to have like a bit of an overview for now. Here you can find the ones that Soil Startup aims to offer, or what Soil Startup aims to offer in a nutshell. And first and foremost, Soil Startup aims to support the mission soil living labs. And as mentioned before, these are the 100 soil health living labs and lighthouses that are being funded directly under the mission soil calls. And soil is here to provide continuity, coordination, and strategic backing for these flagship initiatives. Next, we have then the applicant living labs and lighthouses, and these are organizations or individuals who are planning to apply under future mission soil calls, or the current one, so that's already open. And soil offers them guidance, tools, and a clearer pathway to setting up successful aligned living labs and lighthouses. And as mentioned before, we will explore this later on during the event today. Soil also extends support to European living labs and lighthouses that may not be directly funded by Mission Soil, but are fully aligned with its goals and criteria. And these initiatives can become part of a wider connected network, sharing practices, data, and innovations. And finally, soil reaches out to the broader soil and living lab community. So any individual, group, or organization across Europe and beyond that's interested in contributing to this movement, whether it's through collaboration or knowledge exchange or even joint experimentation. Soil has a place for everyone who wants to help improve soil health. And now the part that is related to the funding opportunities. So how to become a Mission Soil Living Lab. And in 2025, so this year, the Mission Soil Call includes 2 topics to fund Living Lab projects. So 2 topics that are specifically related to the creation of living labs. And I'm going to share a general information on these 2 topics and try to reflect the information given by the European Union as good as possible. But just another note, and something that I've been mentioning, is that we will share the resources and also the useful links, including for the European Commission, to all this information so that you can then explore, because I know that this is like a lot of information. So this will be just an overview. Okay, and so these are the open calls for that were officially published on May this year, and they offer substantial support for innovative projects that aim to improve soil health and promote sustainable land use. And we can go through call one. So the first call is titled Living Labs for Soil Remediation and Green Redevelopment of Brownfield. And this call focuses on regenerating brownfield sites, which are those underused or abandoned urban areas with a history of industrial or commercial use. And through Living Labs, the EU is actually encouraging the co-development and testing of nature-based solutions to remediate soil and promote green urban redevelopment. And these efforts are aligned with the goals and aiming to turn the degraded land into vibrant and sustainable urban spaces. An important information is that this is a single stage submission, and this topic will award one project with a grant of up to 12 million euros. And also another important information is that the deadline is the 30th of September of this year, so something to keep in mind. Then we have the second call, which is called Living Labs to Enhance Soil Health in Continental, Boreal and Alpine regions. And it targets 3 European biogeographical regions, so the continental, the boreal and alpine. And the aim here is to deploy 4 to 5 living labs per project tailored to specific soil challenges of each region. And these labs will promote sustainable land use, region-specific innovation, and strengthen soil governance in real-world conditions. And some key details about this call is that this is a 2-stage submission process, so contrary to the previous one. And each project can receive up to 12 million euros. And this topic will award 3 projects. And the deadline follows a 2-stage model. So the first stage proposals are to be submitted by the 4th of September. And then the second stage, the deadline is the 18th of February of 2026. And each proposal must target one region with living labs set up across at least 3 EU member states or associated countries. And something that I forgot to mention, but just an important note, is that in both Mission Soil Living Labs topics, they explicitly mention the need to collaborate with the soil. So there is this collaboration expected, and not only during the implementation, but also when the project and when preparing the proposal for the project. So this will also relate to the support that soil offers. And in the other slides that we will share, you will find a bit more information about these calls, but we would also like to mention this particular news item that you can find on the soil website, where there is information about the funding opportunities. And actually, just recently there was a webinar also organized by Soil that explored this call and also gave some important information and tips on on how to submit the proposals and how to develop the proposals. So this, we would really encourage you to explore the Soil website, and then the events page you will be able to see the recordings of past events, and these are particularly important and could be quite useful to watch and to have a bit more information since there was also representatives from European Union which provided some more guidance. Okay, and before going into the thematic topic of today's event, I would just like to ask if there are any questions online or in person. I know that this is a lot of information, but yeah, we will try to share everything, also a bit more structured in terms of links and resources so that you can explore in due time. But if there are any questions, yes.
The second project you mentioned that it's about continental, boreal, alpine regions, but that for each project, the focus should be on one region. So one out of those three, you mean?
I believe so, but I can also check that information to come back to you with a more concrete answer. I don't know if online there are questions. I'm not seeing them. So maybe we can go on and yeah, move to the part related to more the topic of today's event. So during this part of the event, we will have 3 guest speakers, as I mentioned in the agenda. And I'd like to just take a few minutes to frame a bit today's event and explain why we chose to spotlight the topic of citizen engagement in soil health. And well, as mentioned before, citizen engagement is one of the pillars of the Mission Soil, but it's not just a key pillar. It's actually a recognition that soil isn't just a scientific issue, but a societal one as well. So healthy soil underpins food security, biodiversity, water regulation, and climate resilience. And yet, despite being essential to life, soil still remains largely invisible in everyday public conversations. So it's not a common topic that we usually discuss. And to change this, we need citizens, farmers, educators, students, policymakers, not just to be informed, but to be involved. And I don't want to preach to the converters, but yeah, I will just go through a bit of this information, and hopefully we will deliver some key points just to keep in mind. And research shows that one of the biggest barriers to restoring soil health is lack of soil literacy. And there is a statement here that people can't protect what they don't understand or value. So soil is usually seen as also a bit of a technical topic. And as the Mission Soil Implementation Plan clearly states, to value soils, people need more than to receive scientific information. It is crucial to start from their existing practices, values, and concerns. And some of the challenges we face here include the low soil awareness. So many people don't realize that actually most of our food comes from soil. So this is something that it seems quite basic, but still it's not something that we think about on a daily basis sometimes. There is also the resistance to change. So new practices and new topics may seem a bit risky or complex. And then there is also the trust and communication gaps. So especially where technical knowledge is quite inaccessible. And citizens are not just beneficiaries, so to speak. They are actually the drivers of innovation. And if we want sustainable solutions, we must co-create with the people that use and live on the land. So innovation actually fails when it's not usable, and citizens make it usable. And in fact, there is growing evidence that participatory innovation, in which citizens are not just consulted, but involved as co-designers, leads to better outcomes, greater trust, and stronger ownership and adoption. And change spreads through communities, not just through institutions. So citizens can serve as for example, ambassadors for soil literacy, peer educators in their communities, and also advocates for sustainable practices at home, at work, at policymaking. And they also play a key role in knowledge creation. So through citizen science, people are helping collect critical data on soil quality, biodiversity, and land use. And this, in short, it means that citizen engagement transforms soil science into soil action. And when people, whether they are farmers, school children, or people working in municipalities, they understand the value of soil and feel included in shaping the decisions, research can actually become a real change on the ground. And this is just more like of an invite to you to also explore other initiatives and projects that are already doing quite some work on this topic, and we actually will have some speakers from some of these initiatives. But we already see some activities that could promote and change, and through EU-funded projects funded under the Mission Soil. And some of them include, so we have the Prep Soil, which just recently concluded. We have ECO that co-organized also a previous thematic event, which is also available online for you to see the recording, and that explores really the soil literacy. And we really encourage you to rewatch the recording. And there are also other projects like Curasol, Humus, Soil Tribes, Soilscape, Lois, and many others. And these projects provide tools, some lessons, and also some inspiration. So that's why we are mentioning them here, in case you would like to explore what they are doing. And there are also some takeaways from these projects, that engagement doesn't just happen by accident, and that it should be planned and not just a checkbox in a project or in an activity, and also that it should be resourced. So there should be budget for this engagement. And you will hear about some of these initiatives and some of the lessons learned, and also some of the insights in just a few minutes. So if you are planning a living lab or applying for Mission Soil funding, here are just a few points to keep in mind. So embed engagement from the start. So when you design your activity or your project with communities, design them with them and not just for them. Budget accordingly, as mentioned before, and also make sure that you track both technical and social outcomes. So also the shifts in understanding, and also the attitudes and in the behavior. And you can also use creative formats, use arts, games, and citizen science to make soil visible and related. And Also the commitment to build trust over time, which means that engagement is not just a single activity, but it's something that must be sustained. So with that framing in mind, let's dive into today's agenda and learn more from those who are already putting these principles into practice. And we will actually explore some of the engagement tools available, not only from initiatives under the Mission Soil, but also from other projects that could inspire you when developing your proposal or your activities. And without further ado, I will just give the floor to Jacqueline Bruce. I hope that Jacqueline is online. I think she is. And I will just briefly introduce Jacqueline. So Jacqueline is a professor of innovation and communication at the Athena Institute from the Vrije Universiteit of Amsterdam. And Jacqueline is an expert in multi-stakeholder engagement in research and innovation. And she coordinates the EU-funded project Food Click, and also is leading the work and team on public engagement and citizen empowerment on the Clever Food project. So, Jacqueline, do you want me to stop sharing the screen?
Yeah, that's good, because I will try to share my own screen. I hope that works out. It's always a bit of a tricky thing, but let's try. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You're ever so welcome. I think I got it here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I have to arrange my screen here because I'm working with two screens. And I'm now going to do the presentation mode. What screen are you now seeing? Is it one big one or is it two separate ones?
The big one.
The big one. Then I did well. I'm proud of myself. Anyway, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and tell you a bit more. What I will do specifically is go into the initiative of Clever Food, which is running now for 2 years and will be around for another almost 2 years. It's actually a project that tries to bring together a lot of other projects on food system transformation, and in that way create synergy. And one of the activities that I'm specifically involved in is the public engagement toolkit. And in this case, public can be largely equated with citizens, as you have used in the previous presentation. So beware that in most cases, when I talk about publics, I actually mean citizens. Now, why did we start the toolkit? Well, interestingly, I think that one of the things why the topic has become so central is because simply the EC calls for it. In many calls for proposal, you see that the proposal must apply the multi-actor approach. And then they refer to, apart from researchers, local communities, indigenous peoples, end users, and a list of other stakeholders as a way to develop innovations to achieve change. And I noticed that this slide largely coincides with the previous presenter. But of course, there is more than just because they call for it. They call for it for a reason. And there are some instrumental considerations which are important, but should, I think, never be the sole reason to do it. And that's what we call the instrumental considerations. That's related to what was previously said, the stronger adoption and the greater trust. because it builds legitimacy around things. If you do things together, there you create ownership and people are more likely to accept it. And with stronger adoption and greater trust as a result. But there is more to it. There is also the importance of normativity. And that's the right to engage. After all, when we make changes to systems, such as the food system, it affects society, it affects citizens in sometimes very profound ways. So from the rights perspective, you would say, well, we need to empower citizens to actually counterbalance threats to their interests that are at stake. And in many cases, since they often are not at the table, it might very well be that their interests are not catered for. So it has also this countervailing power importance. And the other one is substantive. Basically, people have relevant knowledge. People are practitioners. They have lived experience that can actually improve the innovations that result. They know about their context. They know what works and doesn't work, or at least they often have a better feeling for this than researchers do. So there are various reasons to do it. And then, of course, there is this other thing why, particularly in these food system transformation processes, this type of participation, engagement is so relevant. And that's basically because these changes are not minor. It's not just a new food product or so that we're talking about. No, we're really talking about new governance models, the new ways of organizing the system. It requires new cultures. And especially if you want to go more regenerative, resilient, and plant-based food production, it is substantial. And a system is complex. Systems don't easily change. So, and the complexity, it means that there are so many different parts of a system that in various ways interact, and not in simple linear ways, but it's with lots of feedback mechanisms. You have all sorts of unexpected synergies and trade-offs. And that means that it affects a lot of different actors, with citizens being one of them. And it is thus essential, if you want to go for this more just transition, to include lots of different stakeholders, including citizens, for it to be democratic and sustainable. And also in this case, when we talk about this instrumental reason, given the radical changes, given the complexity, you can expect resistance. Resistance for simply going for the unknown and the new, but also vested interests. There will be lots of actors that don't want to change things because actually it's not in their interest. So we need to be broad engagement. And then the importance is that to realize that not everybody will. What you often see is that if you engage people, we go for consensus. Yeah, we go and develop a vision that everybody can subscribe to and would like to strive for. However, it is not that we think the same. We don't think the same about the problem. The problem is never a given. So it is always an issue and always a matter of what we call issue framing. So people look at things differently, and that has to do with their values, it has to do with their positionality, their interests, their background, etc. So that's something to take into account. A problem is not one monolithic thing. The second thing is that this is often something that people are not that much aware of. So it is highly relevant in these change processes to bring these frames to the table, so to make them explicit. And it's especially relevant given the different values, because people also for the future, it's not only that they look at the problem different, they also have different ideas of where it should go to. So they have different ideas about what is good or what is bad. And it can think about, and it can be very fixed. It's not so easy to change what you hold as important values. So we need to bring these implicit frames explicitly to the front. Now, how to do that when you are in a if you want to go for a project on food system transformation in one way or the other, because you always have to start somewhere. You can start with soil health as a very important entry point. And so what are these tools for engagement? There are already a lot available, and that's not surprising, of course. But the interesting thing is that if you go and look where they are, it's highly fragmented. It's often developed within a very specific context. So, for example, in the context of technological innovation in a certain living lab, or it is much more in relation to awareness raising, creating literacy, and for example on protein transition. So, but also we found that many of the tools developed within the framework of projects actually more or less expired. Links were not available anymore. And definitely when the projects finished, there was usually not much happening anymore. They were not kept alive, which is really problematic from the continuity. So we decided we wanted to try to bring these things together but also at the same time start looking for possibilities of continuity over the longer period of time, and to make it into something that can be kept alive. Now that's not easy. So what we have done is that we want to try to develop something that is more applicable for all sorts of transformative spaces around food system transformation. So it is for policy labs, food councils, living labs. So any space where this is relevant. So they are basically guidelines, but we want to make sure that they also are actionable. So that we give different options to do certain things, that we provide user cases, but also that it is linked to the possibilities of attending webinars or training workshops. So what we have now, we started with the web-based environment, and we did a range of workshops with potential users and tried to see how they would like to approach it, how they would like, what should be the look and the feel of it. And we have tested last year some of the dummies of the website. So we bring together tools from lots of different projects. And we have, but all in one standardized template, so that it's, and we have tried to make it more easy to navigate. And basically we have organized the tools around 5 objectives. Because we see that matters. So that tools, although some tools fit in more objectives, in many cases you see they are specific to a certain phase or a certain cluster of activities around food system transformation. And to start in the middle, we have quite a lot of tools around awareness raising. We have tools around system and stakeholder mapping. And system and stakeholder mapping is, of course, something that is key in the sense of that it's a very basic set of tools to understand the system, to understand the stakeholders that are active in food system transformation, how they relate to one another, and how you as an initiative would like to engage with the different stakeholders. But also visioning and planning. And then in many projects, but not all projects, experimentation in the form of living labs or so is relevant. And there's a whole bunch of tools around experimentation. And then, of course, continuity and scaling. What we found is that actually that tool is pretty much neglected as a fact, and it's of course logical. Many of the projects that have taken place are in the earlier phases. They are about mapping, they're about visioning and planning, experimentation or awareness raising. But after 4 years, that's the projectification, the project stops. And then actually they have just built things. So the whole issue of continuity and scaling is hardly ever the centerpiece of activities. So there we are a bit, we found that the tools are rather scarce. And now, like for example, around awareness raising, then we have a number of tools that people can use, and it pretty much looks like this. Yeah, I think we are now at the phase of starting to disseminate, so that we can also collect, collect feedback on how this works. So we have set up a series of online and in-person training sessions. We have had the first 2 training sessions in March and June. We had the objective central around system and stakeholder mapping and awareness raising. In the coming months, we still have 4 training sessions to go, 1 on visioning and planning, and then we will have an in-person training that will dive deeper into difficulties on how to reach certain stakeholder groups and the strategies you might want to use. So that's more of a deep dive. And then we will continue in January and April with the next objectives around experimentation and continuity and scaling. Well, this is it that I would like to leave you with for this short session presentation. Do you want me to unshare my screen?
Thanks, Jacqueline. Yes, maybe we can also ask if someone from online or in person has any questions related to your presentation. Please feel free to unmute yourself, or I don't know if in person there is also, I don't think so, there are questions. Well, if there are no questions, thank you so much, Jacqueline, for sharing. We have, no, it's Gabriella applauding. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for this presentation, and also for sharing the dates of the next training series. So I think this will be quite nice to follow. And yeah, I see that someone is asking for the link.
Yeah,
And
I will put it in the chat. It's no problem. It's also on the
Perfect.
presentation slide, but I have it here.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I will put it in the chat, so don't worry. I will make sure that
Great. So thank you, Jacqueline, really for sharing with us the public engagement toolkit. And yeah, we will. So the link was shared, and then we will also share it in the documents after the event. So in the follow-up documents.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think you are still sharing. Okay, now I can go back to the presentation. Actually, can already introduce our next speaker, which is Helena Freitas from University of Coimbra in Portugal. And Helena is a full professor of biodiversity and plant ecology at the Department of Life Sciences of the Faculty of Sciences and Technology of the University of Coimbra. And she is also involved in the Soilscape project, which is the spreading open and inclusive literacy and soil culture through artistic practices and education. And Elena, I give the floor to you. And thank you so much for joining us and for sharing a bit the insights from the Soilscape project. So over to you. If you would like, you can also share your screen. I think you are able to.
Can you see it?
Oops. Yes, it's not in
Okay.
the presentation.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not in the presentation mode. Yes, I will switch. Okay, now it's okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so again, well, thank you. Good morning to all of you, and thank you very much, Sophia, for this kind invitation to very briefly present Soilscape. I mean, we're just partners of the project. The project is actually coordinated by the French Association for Soil Sciences. So they are the coordinators of the initiative, and I'm at in Portugal. I'm dealing with one side. University of Coimbra is the science, one of the science partners, and at the same time in Portugal we also have involved the SHLLs Foundation, which is where we have one of the major museum of contemporary arts in Porto, in the city of Porto. So we are the two, let's say, players in the Portuguese landscape. While this is a beautiful project that started in June 2024 and it goes up to 2028. So it's going to be for 4 years. So we are basically in the beginning, or well, 1 year. So it's from this point of view of these big projects is, in fact, we feel that we are in the beginning of some kind of history. So the project it's called Soilscape, spreading open and inclusive literacy and soil culture through artistic practice and education. Why soils? Because we are pretty much aware the need of the degradation of soils are a basic. I mean, are absolutely critical aspect of the food system, and that's I'm trying to make some connections with the topic that you were covering in general. So without good soils, without healthy soils, we won't have, of course, good and healthy food. So this is and at the same time we realize that it's not, I mean, making citizens and in general the public aware of the relevance of soil is not an easy narrative, because it's, I mean, soils are typically, below ground, so you don't see them, you don't even realize the life that is below, and without this living system. We won't have a planet, ecosystems thriving, and so it's urgent really to make all of us generally aware of the relevance of this system that is really facing a lot of critical threats. So these are the partners, about 10 countries and 18, I guess, 18 partners and 10 countries, I'm sorry. So I will basically I am the coordinator of the Center for Functional Ecology, which is a research center that is involved in this project. And I'm also director of the Park of SHLLs, which is where we have this, as I told you, cultural landscape, where we have part of the Portuguese approach to this soilscape project. So I will be mostly focused in our role, but presenting the project, of course. So the concept is globally, it's like if it's a soilscape symphony. So the main goal is bringing like 8 major soil cultural and artistic orchestras, and where we plan at the national level to each of the orchestras will involve all these of course citizens, artists, soil experts, public and private institutions. We are going to play the orchestras in public places, and of course all the education and training. So we'll have, this is the let's say the basic. I have to change this because I cannot see the slides with you, and it's not okay. Okay, sorry. So sorry. So this is the, and then you can see also which countries are involved in this project. What are the major objectives of the project? Understand and build the current perception landscape of human-soil relations, design and conduct a self-sustainable network of 8 artistic and cultural soil orchestras to increase soil literacy in society, unleash the power of art for improving soil literacy through transparent dynamic funding initiatives. This is important because we have just launched some of these funding initiatives. I will have the chance to present. Empower citizens and professionals to positively care about and for soils, and highlight successful initiatives and reach at least 20,000 participants in a yearly soil literacy festival. While of course extend the symphony beyond Europe and install capacity building measures. The methodology of the soilscape, we are just ending the stage 1, where we have shortlisted the best soil literacy practices and public policies in each of the countries involved in the orchestra. Understand the societal landscape with human-soil relationships mainly by collecting narratives that are dominant in the cultural and artistic landscape. And then we are jumping into stage 2, where we will have to build a sustainable network on soil literacy, design a soil literacy portal, co-develop a soil and metaphorical landscape and narratives, and co-build festival models. That is where we are now. And of course, we are preparing the next stages, where we plan to have next year, we have 2 big festivals, one on soil, one in France and one in Portugal, in SHLLs, in Porto. So that is the plan for 2026. So that will be another stage of the proposal. But again, these are just, from the point of view of the project, we are now entering the stage of preparation of the action phase of the project. And of course, then we aim to prepare sustainability of the project for a long-term perspective. Why arts? Well, soil is often unseen, ignored, or misunderstood, and we believe that artists can help. I'm a scientist myself, I'm a biologist, but I truly believe that artists can help us really to, they will certainly have different languages, but it's more and more, as a scientist, I also feel that this interdisciplinary approach is very, very helpful and can really make us go further. Transform soil from an abstract hidden element into a tangible and emotional experience. This idea that emotions can also support the narrative and even the scientific narrative is becoming more and more strategic, and I think it's very important. I mean, to really to connect people even to soil, which you think it's probably the last frontier of something that is, in terms of nature, is really hard to connect. So bridge science, society, and action with easier to understand and accessible messages, making soil literacy modern and academic discussion, build empathy, awareness, and long-lasting impressions. And so this challenge societal perceptions of soil, encouraging new ways of thinking about its critical role in ecosystems, food systems, and climate resilience. Well, why festivals? Were we putting a lot of our energy in festivals? Because they are meaningful and fun connections with others. They celebrate nature, celebrate gatherings, can be a spark for sharing ideas, knowledge, and perspectives. And so we go, I mean, part of the concept of these festivals, they are planned to have hands-on activities, art, science collaborations, storytelling, and performances, citizen science projects, expert talks, and Ask Me Anything, and immersive experiences. These are, I mean, part of the calls that we've just launched. So how are we building these orchestras? And by bringing people and by bringing different, also calling for a elaboration process. So we are going to, I mean, we have already open calls for, I mean, artists and teams that can really help us building these initiatives. So we plan to have a financial support to third parties, and it's going to be basically about 2 million euros in terms of share, and it's going for soilscape festivals. As you can see, there are going to be transnational, national, and local, and for soil orchestras, 8 countries and 24 sub-projects in 8 countries, 3 per country, and we are going to put for 40,000 euros per sub-project. This is the whole idea is also to expand the potential contributions that we can have and get in this, to build these orchestras at the national level. So we've just launched, as I said, one call. We are planning to launch other calls in the near future. And then, of course, this is the calendar of the project. I don't know if it's interesting for you. The expected results of this strategy we'll have a catalog of soil literacy best practices and policies. We are building a soilscape network. We strongly believe that this approach can be really open and widen in the future. We have the festival guidelines, which can be also applied in the future in other potential contexts. A creative atlas of artistic soil-related activities products, a soil literacy press kit, integrated soil literacy portal, soilscape festival in models. So these are, and of course, policy recommendations. And we'll have a very nice roadmap for soil orchestras. So the whole idea of this project is let's build a symphony together. You can have more information even regarding the calls if you like, and we really encourage everybody to join us and to support us and to also collaborate by bringing ideas, projects, and also, of course, to respond to the calls. That's the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elena. I will open the floor to any questions, again, from online or in person. I'm not sure if there are questions or if there is something that someone would like to clarify, but I think it was super nice and a good opportunity to share this experience from Soilscape, and also the festivals seem quite a nice
Yeah, there will
initiative,
be
and
two.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
next
sure
year,
that
as I said, we'll have two. One in SHLLs in Porto, and another one in France. And it's, I think there will be, I mean, I'm expecting to be really high momentums of the Soilscape project, and I believe we'll have a very strong engagement from public in general. I hope so. So this is, as I said, this is a very, to me, I mean, as a biologist and a scientific driven person, this involvement with people from theater and music, arts in general, has been really an amazing an amazing path, totally different from what I've been involved in the past, and it's really changing. And it's as more as I get engaged in this kind of processes that are strongly interdisciplinary, the more I believe that we can go much further with this kind of collaboration and common approaches. Really, it's really inspiring. It has been very inspiring, and we are very happy to share with anyone that they want to have more information. I'm just, of course, very briefly presenting, but if you want to know more, feel free to reach us.
I see that Primitiva has the hand up. I don't know if you'd like to unmute yourself.
Yes, yes. Greetings from Tanzania, everyone.
Well,
Yeah, thank you very much, Elena, for sharing with us about your project. Yeah, it's a really good project. Yeah, it creates more awareness to people to understand the potential of soil. Yeah, because from putting the soil concept into the craft and arts, I think most of people will be interested to know, oh, through this soil we can make this product and whatever.
it
So
is.
because soil, yeah, I'm based in Tanzania in East Africa, so soil is really not recognized to other people's other stakeholders. So I'm thinking about, do you expect to have any sub-project that will be extended out of Europe, or it is concentrated only in Europe? Thank you.
Thank you very much for a question. As you said, as you are saying, this is, I mean, even in the beginning, for me, as I said, as a scientist, this was, I mean, I was really challenged by the initiative, because we all know, I mean, working in science, and not only that, but that soils are really a hidden box. I mean, most of us don't really think that soil is a living system, and so imagine to bring this to the cultural and all artistic, and then make this having part of a emotional connection with people. It's really challenging, as you said, but it's very interesting. Even the process for the project partners, I think it has been challenging as well, but we are getting some results. I feel that we are more and more convinced that it is really possible to go beyond the soilscape, time frame, and really extend this approach to other, even for the future. I mean, it will, I think, more, I believe now that is possible to extend it, and it's not only possible but desirable to extend it and have other participants, other outside Europe, and I think this can have the power to go beyond the borders of what is the plan now, and I hope so, because it's taking one of the most difficult boxes of nature, into a plan that you are not expecting to have it, and it's possible. So I expect so, and thank you very much for your contribution and support. Thank you. Yeah.
I don't know if there are other questions. If not, I just have a question. It's more of a curiosity. So I was wondering if you could share a bit about the reaction when reaching out to artists to be involved in a
Yeah.
soil project. What was their reaction, and how was this process also for them?
It's a very good question. You'd be surprised, as I was, because it was also my feeling. I mean, I was not expecting to have a positive, so much positive responses and availability, to think and to plan, to participate as we had. So it's a surprise but I think that more and more the artists, this is also for them a challenge, that are willing to support and to join. So in the beginning, I mean, the worst part, I think, was even to ourselves as a team. It was my feeling. As a team, we were, I mean, coming from different disciplines and different perspectives. That was probably the most important challenge, because we had to commit together to develop a common agenda. We had the roadmap to fulfill. And so, this facing different countries, different perspectives, that was, we were a bit lost in the beginning. That was my feeling again. But the artists can make you, in a way, when you reach them and you open this, it's like they were expecting, I mean, people, communities are waiting for this change. So this was very easily captured by the artists and by the arts and cultural world, I think. So more, this is clear. And I'm as a director of the Park of SHLLs in Porto, where we have this Museum of Contemporary Art, I deal with artists at different level, and I can also see that the same process is taking place in the artistic world. I mean, there's embracing the societal challenges, and of course central to these are climate change, the loss of nature. These are challenges that we are all embracing in different perspectives, in different ways, but we are all in the same, more and more converging, I would say. So it was easy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I see that there is a question from Dr. Khalid. Please feel free to unmute yourself.
Hello, good morning, and thank you so much. I really enjoyed the talk, Helena. Congratulations for putting the soil importance in a way. Just to sort of taking the whole society view. So where you see, beside the government regulation, where the sort of the schools, the youngsters, and they could play a role. Just coming from the UK, from British Art Society, one work we've been doing, sort of engaging the schools. So we sent some kind of a soil kit. The schools could play with it. So just want to understand, and also especially from the supply chain perspective, where the big roles, the likes of buyers or retailers, likes of Tesco's or Aldi's supermarkets, they could play. So there's a bit of missing link. So how you think we should be able to overcome, and especially now with the EU pulling back from the EU Green Directive. So what's it gonna be look like?
Well,
June isn't a good month.
Again, thank you very much for your question. It's very important. I apologize that I somehow missed this perspective of the project as well, and it's tough because I'm involved, particularly involved in these initiatives that are related to education. We are actually also organizing some games, and we have very games in connection. And essentially, we are planning we have been organizing every year a BioBlitz, 1 week full-time, 1 week BioBlitz, that is involving all the schools, not the country level, but the region level. And we are involving 30,000 young students from the schools in the region. It's really a very a very attractive initiative. And next year, this is going to be dedicated to the soil as well. This Bioblade is 1 full week that we plan to involve schools. And I'm assuming that is going to happen in other countries involved in this partnership, in this network of countries. And at the same time, yes, we are planning to develop kits for educational kits, and also some gaming initiatives. I think that will be part of the strategy. Yes, educational perspective, because as you said, this is critical, and this is assumed as such in the project. So it's a shame that the UK, as you said, is not. But I think UK is still involved in the European initiatives, I think, and with the reconnection is, I think it is possible, and we need the UK in also positively influencing the European landscape, I think. So I think this is just a matter of time that so I'm with you. I think that the educational perspective and the educational agenda should be stronger in the project, and we are looking forward to have it more and more robust, let's say. Yeah.
That's good. I just want to add one thing more, because this week we are celebrating in the London Climate Action Week,
Yes.
and we are hosting event on soil. So where soil
Yeah.
could be a solution for climate resilience. I'll share the link here. So I think this is where we need to create that advocacy, and so the other players, they could sort of see a value of why we need to protect our soil for clean air, clean water, biodiversity, and all these things. So thank you.
So sorry if it was not perceived in my presentation, because it's just more institutional presentation, but I agree with you. The soil is to be also shown as part of the strategy of climate resilience, biodiversity preservation, water clean, well, a lot of ecosystem services. Of course, soil is critical. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the questions. Any last questions to Elena?
No.
No.
Sorry.
Well, if there are no questions, thank you so much, Elena. And we will share with participants the links, and if you agree, we will also share the presentation
Okay.
with
Of course.
everyone. Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
We will now give the floor to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Nargis Parvin, and she's a senior researcher at the Research Institutes of Sweden, and has an educational and research background in soil and environmental sciences. And Nargis is one of the coordinators of the Swedish Soil Health Living Lab of SHLLs project, and the lead coordinator of the Your Soil project, both projects funded by the EU Horizon Mission Soil 2030. So Nargis, the floor is yours, and thank you so much for joining us and for agreeing to share a bit about the experiences from the Soil Health Living Lab in Sweden.
Thank you, Sophia, for your kind introduction. Hello, everyone. Shall I present from my side, Sophia?
As you prefer. Do you want?
Okay, I can share from this one. I also have confusion with this big screen and double screen. Can you see the big screen now?
Yes.
Okay,
all
good. Okay, thank you. So thank you, everyone. And thanks, UFIC team, for inviting. So I'm, as you said, one of the coordinators of Swedish Soil Health Living Lab, which is part of SHLLs project. And this project has started since September last year, and it will be running for 48 months. And yeah, our living lab is not matured yet. It's quite at the initial phase, but I will share some of the experiences we got so far with the living lab setting and co-creations with not really the citizen, but farmers who are also part of the citizens. So at first, I would like to describe shortly the EcoShell project. In EcoShells, we have 6 living labs across Europe, covering different geoclimatic regions from northern to southern. And these living labs serves as real world testing grounds for innovative soil solutions. While focusing on mission soil objective, mainly objective number 4 and 6, but also we will address the objective number 2 and 8, which is organic carbon and soil literacy. So through this collaborative effort within these living labs, the goal is to develop, test, and validate potential solutions. Here solutions means mainly the nature-based solutions, while ensuring the scalability beyond their immediate regions. So as you can see, the 6 living labs has different land uses, such as Basque Soil Living Lab has a peri-urban soil health living lab. In Bulgaria, we have agricultural soil health living lab. Greek has a mining soil health living lab. Italian also has a agricultural soil health living lab. Same goes to Spain, agricultural soil health living lab, and Swedish soil health living lab. We also have open call, which is coming in September 2025 through the financial support for third parties. So if you are interested, you can keep your eyes open, and I will share the link in the last slide for the project page. So now I will discuss some of the experiences that we have in our Swedish living lab. So what is the status of Swedish Soil Health Living Lab? We have some national soil health challenges, which are soil compaction, poor soil structure, loss of soil biodiversity, depletion of organic matter, and nutrient imbalances, which results in some areas of surplus and subsequent pollution, especially surplus of phosphorus in many places, which have been identified as the primary threats to Swedish agricultural soil. But furthermore, we also have some soil erosion problem, but we are focusing only on mission soil objective number 4 and 6. So we are mainly focusing on soil compaction, soil structure, and soil biodiversity and nutrient imbalance as a soil pollution. So the solutions to be implemented are an iterative process and will be determined in a co-creation approach, which is one of the main recommendations to run the living lab, that it has to be a multi-step approach and the solution has to be determined by co-creation. So, but we also have already some potential solutions from preliminary discussion, which could be cover crop and crop rotation, conservation tillage method, substitution of mineral fertilizers with bio-based products, controlled drainage, enhanced manure management, and use of lightweight solar-powered vehicles for controlled trafficking in agricultural fields so that we can avoid the compaction issue. Additionally, there will be some cooperative approach between animal farms and crop production farms, which will be established to enhance the efficient use of manure and its potential use to improve the soil quality. So currently, we have 14 sites total in our Swedish living lab. As you can see, they are quite spread out from mid to southern part of the country, which is not really an ideal setting. I will come to that point later. And some of the partners you can see in the right side, these are the direct partners, beneficiary of Swedish Living Lab. And some of the partners such as Odlinge Balance and Hushållningsskapet has previous experience already with the establishment of successful national living labs. So the current activities, currently we are doing this baseline soil sampling, but we have done some co-creation session with our farmers. Some national problems, not national, but the site related problems have been identified. You can see in the right side, although it's in Swedish, but you can see below that soil compaction, which is jordpackning in Swedish, found to be the most important problem in Swedish living lab sites. Then soil water holding capacity and drainage are also some soil health challenges that has to be deal in these living lab sites. So we have now proposed some solutions, and farmers also have some solutions. Some farmers have already tested some solutions, and they would like to test a bit different one, also make a bit implementation of those solution in a larger area, something like that. But we are quite lucky that all farmers we have are quite enthusiastic and have a very strong intention to improve their soil or to keep the soil health as it is. Because some of the sites are already having quite good soil health condition. Still, they won't like to keep it as it is now. And the solutions that I discussed in the earlier slides will be defined and tested after the soil analysis, after the baseline analysis, which is on the way right now. And we have also second co-creation, which has been planned in 2 groups in national agricultural fairs. There we will reach out to the real citizen. We will distribute the knowledge there in the farm, in the national fair, and also we will meet half of the group in 2 different national fairs. Group means the group of our farmers. So the first co-creation, we had some reflection. There we had 30 participants, including farmers, mainly the farmers. There were researchers, project leaders, students, few of them, some extension service providers, and authorities were not there, but they would like to involve quite later in of the project. So, and we did not invite any industry at this stage, but at the second co-creation. Now I will share some of the experiences, because co-creation is quite complicated, because you have different type of stakeholders in one meeting. So we had to do the first co-creation online because most of our farmers were in the middle of their spring activities at the farm. We used mural, and it worked well to visualize the common and diverging challenges of the farms. Some participants worked very actively on adding suggestions for solutions that they had already tested. They provide some of their reflections and what they would like to test next time. Some participants attended by mobile, which made it impossible to contribute to the tool with the information provided. One farmer was in the tractor and could not focus too much on contributing to the written and verbal input on the topic of challenges and solutions. So these things has to keep in mind that farmers are not in a desktop settings in their working time, so they have quite many challenges. And one of our farmers got stressed by seeing so many cursors moving around on the mural screen and does not like the choice of the tool. So there are many pros and cons actually on the online meetings, but this is the way it is nowadays. Sometimes you have to do it in person, sometimes online, but it's good that you make a personal relation with the farmers, especially having phone calls or emails, and give them some idea what could be the online tools to engage. So some insights that we got from the first co-creation, that it is quite important that farmers feel that their time is well spent in the workshop. There should be some valuable information that they can use in their current activities in the field. And we try to work with possibility of both speaking and writing to overcome the shyness, achieve a good level of participation. As I can see from the previous speakers, like the trust is very important here. So we actually had a quite long relation with our farmers. We used some existing networks that made it possible to have a very good trust with them. But still we are working to make it even better. And there were some technical issues that limited the discussion between the farmers, but it is something that will be there always, some technical issues. It would be beneficial to divide the group into subgroups that we got from our first meeting, so that we can have a both discussion with some subgroups, in-depth discussion with the farmers plus stakeholders together. For example, it could be subgroups of problem specific or site specific or some sub-region specific. So there are some I would say these 4 points are quite really quite important to keep in mind for new applicants. As I told in my Living Lab site slide, that our settings is not quite ideal. You can see this is quite spread out. They are not in one region. They are quite in the, distributing from southern to northern part. The most northern sites are quite different than the southern part. So, but we had to identify the farmers who are interested to participate. That is quite important. That's why we had to make it that is spreading around the country. So it is quite important to identify and involve farmers who are actively involved in agricultural practices, but also important to engage landowners, and they should have a strong intention to improve their soil health. And leveraging the existing networks, which we did in our Swedish Living Lab. It's quite easier if you use the existing networks and association to facilitate the connection and collaborations. We use some of the Living Lab sites, which is already running for 5-6 years now. So it was easier for us. And proximity of sites, that I said, like selection of sites is quite important. They should be near to each other in one region for the logistical point of view, for sampling, for communication, because we have now in the southern part and in the mid part. So we had to divide the sampler group. There are 2 groups taking samples in 2 different regions, because it's not possible for one person to move around the whole area and take samples within a week. But it's also important to ensure that these locations reflect the diversity of soil properties and agricultural practices within the region. This approach will help ensure that the findings are broadly applicable and relevant. Also, the co-creation workshop, as a Living Lab settings, the recommendation that you have to run 7 to 8 co-creation workshops. So it's quite important to run it successfully. So it's important to employ both open and tailored communication strategies to engage different stakeholders in the co-creation meeting, so that they feel engaged, they feel the trust on you, so that they can share the goals and their expectation with you, and also the problems they have. So sharing the goals with participants beforehand, it's also important, so that they come with the preparation they have, and with relevant ideas and insights to share in the meetings. Yeah, these were the things to consider in setting up Living Labs. I would share until now. And there are some soil literacy activities also ongoing. We also have some tools to develop. I think this is quite quite developed already, and that tool will be employed quite soon in the project. But I do not have any experience with real citizen engagement at this point of Living Lab. But I hope this will help you if you are interested in setting up a new Living Lab. With this, I would like to thank you. And if you are interested, you can go to this website of our ICOSHL project. And if you have any question, you can write to me and my colleague Tora, who is another coordinator of Swedish Soil Health Living Lab. Thank you.
Thank you, Nargis, for sharing the experience and insights from the Swedish Soil Health Living Lab. And as you said, I hope this has been useful for people interested in setting up their own living lab. And if there are any questions, please feel free to either pose them. I think in person we don't have, but online, I'm not sure if there are. If so, please feel free to unmute yourself. I am not seeing any hands. Well, it seems that everything was clear, and if you agree, Nargis, we will share all these resources also with the participants, and if there are any questions, they also have your contact. So, we see a question in the chat. Go to it. So, yes, Steffi asks, what is the budget volume for your project?
Yeah, total budget is 12 million euro for ICOSHL's project, and it's around 12% for Swedish Living Lab. But since we are coordinating, we have a bigger portion of the budget out of 12 million.
Any other questions?
I just want to ask one question. Thank you again. Just very interesting setup of the workshop of the labs. Just want to understand a bit. Are you sort of covering different crops when they are in different regions, and how do we compare apple with apple?
It's actually, we will compare same crops, but also the same soil types together if we implement same solution. The other conditions should be the same if we compare. But then if you think of comparing different crops, I think we are not focusing on crops here, but what we are focusing on soil compaction, for example. Soil compaction could be a problem in potato fields and also in the spring cereal fields, right? So here the focus is on soil health issues and to provide the solutions, but I'm not sure actually how we will compare different agricultural practices there. But so far I know we will compare similar agricultural practices, but on the same issue of soil health challenge.
Okay, but it would vary according to different crops, because if it's a grassland system, it will have a different situation, and if you have potatoes, it will have a different effect.
Yeah, of course. If we compare with grassland, but we do not have any grassland field here. All are arable crops. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I can see another raised hand from Primitiva.
Yes, thank you, Nagish, for sharing with us about the setup of living labs. I have a few questions. This is the area of my interest of soil health. Now you have there's a problem of soil compaction Yeah, I would like to know what are the causes of compaction in those
Yeah.
areas you are targeting?
Exactly. So in Sweden, there is a issue of historical compaction due to use of heavy machineries on clay soil, especially in wet condition during 50s. So this compaction coming from historical agricultural practices, well, when people were not that concerned about the issue of soil compaction. But now we know that soil compaction is something that takes quite a long time to recover, to regenerate the soil again, and to regenerate the soil with the healthy soil porosity. So yeah, this is due to historical use of agricultural machineries in unsuitable soil condition.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. So are those people ready to change?
Yeah.
Because I think they will still continue using heavy machines.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly, because the field sizes are quite large, so you have to use heavy machineries, but there are quite improvement in machineries nowadays. So farmers are using a lightweight vehicle plus inflammable tire that reduce the total weight per square meter of the machine. Also, in many places, and also it's recommended nationally to use the control traffic. So you run the agricultural machinery not everywhere in the field, but with the GPS technique, you run it year after year on the same track, and then you change the track to regenerate that part that you used for 4 or 5 years, for example.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, the last question about the change from use of mineral fertilizer to the available bioproducts.
Yeah.
What are the products do you think they could be able to improve the different soils in Sweden?
So here we do have quite a lot of, how I would say, manure, farmyard manure, also green compost to use. Also, there are some recommendation of use customized biochar. So all those nature-based solution will be used, can replace the mineral fertilizer, but it's mainly farmyard manure that is in our consideration, and some customized biochar.
Okay, so are they easily available?
Yeah, they are quite available in some places. They just make it a heap of farmyard manure, and there is no use of it. So we are trying to make a collaborative approach between this animal farm with the crop farm that are near to each other.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Nagish. All the best.
Thank you.
Just a last question, because we are already a bit over time. So Steffi, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. So Nagish, again, there's one more question from my side to the budget. Can you tell us how you managing the budget? So who got the money? How you divide it to your partners, or how does this work? It would be nice if you could explain this a little more in detail. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the total budget was 12 million. Steffi, you are muted. If you have more question, I don't know. But can you hear me, Steffi? It seems like we lost her.
Perhaps Nargisa,
Since
you
this
can
is,
write it,
yeah,
check, or
exactly.
maybe Steffi will then be able to see the answer.
Yeah, exactly. So it was quite tricky to make the budget because at that time it was even not clear how many interactions we will have with soil platform, for example. But we know now that there will be many interaction with soil There are even some travel to attend some mission assemblies in Brussels, something like that. But these are not that big budget. But what we did, we have 6 living labs. So we had a rough estimation of the project management, which is meant for the coordinating partner. And then we asked for a preliminary budget of 1.5 million from each of the living labs. And then some budget was bigger than others, so we had to adjust. But you can give some preliminary budget, and then you ask to make a budget within that preliminary one, and you can check how it works. But it's quite important to keep the budget for some travel to general assemblies from Mission Soil Week, which is external actually. And then interaction with soil platform, which is quite a bit of time taking, and it was not quite clear when we prepared our budget. Yeah, it based on the soil analysis mainly, because it's the most I would say price consuming things, the soil analysis. I don't know what type of analysis you are looking for, but some organic pollutants, for example, to analyze takes quite a lot of budget, quite expensive one. For example, PFAS and some other things, microplastic, all those things are quite expensive budget. So it depends on the soil analysis. It depends on the time you need, the personnel you have. In the Your Soil project, we have some partners from Luxembourg, for example, and their salary range is quite higher than other partner countries. So you have to consider all those things. But making a preliminary time for all the personnel and make a preliminary budget for partner countries, divide the whole budget, and then you can ask for a preliminary budget. Then you adjust. That I can say, but it depends on many other things.
Thank you so much, Nargis. I think Steffi, if then you can rewatch the recording, because I know that you missed a bit of the answer. But we, since we are quite ahead of time, we need to close this session, and we'll go to the coffee break. I think we can get some to stand up and to have some food. So I will suggest to resume at 11:15. So that way we have a bit more time to enjoy the break, and then we will feel more energized for the interactive part that will follow. So please, you don't need to leave the Zoom meeting. You can just turn off your camera and then connect again at 11:15. So you can stay in the link, and you will see when we come back. So thank you so much again, Nargis, for your presentation, and see you in a few minutes at 11:15. Morning.
Sachant que nous, on a plus d'un hectare de terrain en centre-ville, ça évolue.
Okay, so I will briefly introduce the next activity. So we will have our co-creation session, And this will be in breakout groups. So we will divide you into 3 rooms where you will be accompanied by Ezra, Alba, or Victoria from the UFIC team. And then in person, we will also have a chance to discuss together this activity. And the idea is just really a first attempt of co-creating early ideas for citizen engagement, addressing soil health challenges. And please note that we are aware that this is just a limited time, so we are not expecting any polished outcomes or very elaborate outcomes. It's just more of a matter of connecting and going through some steps to collectively think about some ideas and potentially explore them further after the event. And I will just share my screen just to show you a bit what we are doing. Okay. Well, then I'll just back. I'll just find the right slide. Okay. So this. So again, as mentioned, this is just a first attempt, and we will go through some steps. And this is a Canva that you will see something similar in the online breakout rooms. And together, the idea is that we have like about 30 minutes to discuss this Canvas. So we will have these interactive breakout rooms until 11:45, and then each group presents the key takeaways in plenum at 11:45. So without further ado, I will ask Gabriele or the Trust IT team to put us all in breakout rooms, please. Thanks,
Yes.
Fabiana.
Hi, Sophia. I'm opening the breakout room now.
Okay, thanks. Okay. I think we are now joining, and if I experienced the same as we did here in person, it was quite rushed. But hopefully it will give you the interest to then follow up after the event and continue the conversations. But for now, I will ask each group to share a bit the conversation and the takeaways from your rooms. So I don't know who wants to start, and yeah, I will ask Ezra, Victoria, and Alba to see who is going to share from your own room the takeaways from the discussions.
Yeah. Well, maybe I can start. We didn't have the time to finish all the steps, but maybe I can ask Age to share the discussion that we were having.
Yeah, thank you, Victoria. I hope you can hear me well. We were discussing, we were only 3 in the room, and we were discussing with Maria, Victoria, about the how the satellite images or Earth observation could be used to facilitate citizen engagement and monitoring soil and ecosystem health. And Maria was mentioning about the some specific examples in Maremma, Toscana region about the species. She was working on the genetic species and cultivated in the conservation agroecology. And in this case, we find that challenging the resistance of the farmers to use on this kind of innovative technologies, which this can be really, you can go back in time and see how land was used before and what was the soil properties, and then come today and showing that scala, this can really impact farmers' motivation and understanding. That's why this can be used, and also citizens from the field, from the farmers, they can provide their ground truth data directly to the systems to validate all of those satellite images, and they can see the improvements or the decrease in their soil health directly. These are the tools actively used, and many EU projects are using these. Yeah, we discuss about these very shortly. Over to you, Victoria.
Yes, AJ. I don't know if Maria, do you want to add something, or was it comprehensive?
No, Eshe was incredible. Thank you for resuming.
Perfect. Thank you both. So I pass over to, I don't know if Alba or Ezra.
Yes, I was in the group 3, so Nikolaus will share the main message and outcome from our group. Nikolaus, you are muted. We cannot hear you.
Yeah. So the main objective was how to work together and to help and advise groups and also citizens putting together a consortia, and we talk about for the Soil Living Labs goals, and we discussed about the real world testing grounds for innovative soil solutions. And the main goal is to develop and the test in generally the soil in different projects we have. So I don't remember exactly how I had written this, but we could help for example, via some survey platforms with mapping with software we have, or we can provide some compost calculators, and also to create how to guide the other people, and also to maybe to create some checklists for workshops or events. And with the main goal, which is to reach out the partners or some volunteers. What else? We discussed. We discussed also about some ways to create drafts and email templates to reach out the volunteers also, and also we had written how to stay connected, which means to keep the momentum going, and also we had the brainstorming for how to go to the next steps for the community initiative, and how to sharing some updates in how things are growing generally. This for the moment, I think. But the general concept is how to stay connected with citizens and to keep going with brainstorming.
Thank you so much, Nicholas, for sharing. So the next one, I guess Alba would like to share.
So for group one, we did not agree on who will present, because we were with quite a big group, and we did not have time to clearly define also which citizen engagement activity we will focus on. But we were discussing different challenge ideas, and in the end, we decided to focus on the challenge of biodiversity loss. And we were thinking, brainstorming ideas of how we could engage citizens. Some of the ideas that were mentioned were involving them as data collectors, but also to engage them in observation, or include them in workshops, or create curriculum activities for schools. And we have several ideas. I don't know if someone who was in the group one would like to share a bit in more detail what they put in the Miro. Feel free to do so.
I guess group one is maybe we can also then share the screenshots from each groups, and then we can all see what was written, and then try to exchange a bit on that. But I don't know, Alba, do you think there is something else you would like to add, or from group one, or?
No, because there are a lot of ideas, so I don't think we have time to go over them all. So I think maybe it's better that we will share the Miro with everyone else, and then people can see what we put in there.
Okay. Then thank you so much, Victoria, Ezra, and Alba, for facilitating, and also for all the participants in the online breakout rooms. I would now ask here for the participants in person to share a bit about the conversation that we had. It was a bit rushed, but I think Nicole, will be able to provide an overview of what was discussed. Hi everyone. In our group, we talked about the need to address the challenge of involving more the citizens in contributing directly to the soil health. And with citizens, I mean the people living in the cities who don't have direct access to land. We have identified the challenge and like the willingness from citizens to participate in activities like, for example, urban gardening to protect and restore the soil. And we have identified the challenge of not having enough spaces for the citizens to do so. So for sure, there is the need to have more project initiatives around urban agriculture and to make and utilize more public space to do so. This, of course, will create more community engagement, knowledge sharing, disseminations of practices, and more sustainable practices in general in order to protect the soil. Then, of course, there are a lot of other challenges and needs that we could identify, but for the time that we had, this is what it was discussed. Okay. Thank you so much, Nicole. I don't know if there are questions or if there are things that you would like to explore a bit further from, a bit of interaction between groups. If not, we can go to the other part of this interactive session, which is the pitching. And this is where we invited participants to introduce themselves and share their work and other interests and what they are looking for, if they are looking for partners. So we received some presentations, and perhaps we will start from those who sent us their slides, if that's okay. And I have a picture here in person, so maybe we can start, Walter. Is it okay? Then I can share the screen. Let me just find it. And please feel free to then ask questions or write them in the chat. But we will have the opportunity to discuss these presentations a bit more in detail after each pitch. So let me just share. Okay, please feel free to introduce yourself and
Okay, my name is Walter Luiten. I'm affiliated with the University of Leuven, KU Leuven in Belgium. And my project is about the use of natural products for soil-friendly crop protection. Next slide. So the objectives would be to develop soil-friendly novel crop protection agents based on plant extracts or natural products. Many of you will probably know that current crop protection agents pose a number of problems. They have a broad spectrum, so they also affect beneficial organisms in the soil. They typically have a long half-life. They accumulate in soils and thereby also typically in groundwater. Their use has led to resistance from many target pathogens, which is increasing. They tend to be also expensive, especially for the agriculture in developing countries. And some of them, if not used correctly, may pose health hazards for the farmers and even the consumers if they are used late in the season, shortly before harvesting. So my main activities are, we have screened mostly traditional medicinal plants for useful bioactivities, activity against bacteria, fungi, or helminths. We try to identify which compounds are responsible for the bioactivity and get some idea of how they work, what is their mechanism of action, how broad the spectrum or narrow the spectrum is, and whether they have some toxicity, including environmental toxicity. Next slide. So we have expertise that we can offer, as I mentioned, testing for certain bioactivities on also agricultural pathogens and on C. elegans as a model nematode. I mentioned we can purify the active compounds and identify them. As resources, we can offer access to a database of plant extracts, for which we have tested a number of bioactivities. Over the years, I've also built up a network of contacts, especially in Asia and Africa, that can provide bioactive plant extracts, also used in traditional agriculture there. In some cases, as I said, we've isolated the natural products, and in some cases, we've even done field trials. In the case of Ralstonia solanacearum, we've done field trials, but in most cases, we just have in vitro evidence, so in a test tube, whether there's activity. So that's why we are looking for additional expertise. We want to, on the one hand, tap into traditional knowledge or citizen science for suggestions on how best to protect crops, what citizens themselves as horticulturists or amateur horticulturists have experienced themselves that works or works not. We can help them to test activities in vitro that are relevant for crop protection, but we would like to solicit their help for preliminary field testing and also idea of some ecotox effects. For agricultural field trials, we'll probably need companies to step in, and especially if you want to develop these results commercially, we'll probably need to have industries that help us to complete the registration process with the authorities, and then to, of course, commercialize any products that have broad-scale applications. Thanks for your attention. And if there are questions, I'll be happy to answer those. My contact details are on this slide.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know if there are questions or any points that you would like to discuss with Walter at the moment. Not sure. I don't see any hands. Well, as mentioned, we will share the contact details. So then after the event, please feel free to reach out. And you will also receive this presentation. Okay, so now let me go back to my file to see who else provided their slides. I'm not sure if Hans Bremer is here. I don't see the name in the online Zoom. Well, it seems that it's not at the moment. And there were also other, there was a participant that mentioned in the chat that had to leave, but we will ask if it's okay also to share the presentations from those who sent us, but were not able to present today with everyone, so that you can also have access to those, and then you have the contact information. Let's see, there were also some people that reached out saying that they would like to pitch, but they didn't exactly prepare a presentation. Yeah, I'm going through the file, and I'm also not seeing Patricia. I don't know if Patricia is here. I don't think so. Dr. Nadiradze. I'm not sure. Yeah. So, well, I guess this is the time for me to give you the floor. If anyone would like to introduce themselves and share a bit about the work that you are doing in your organization, and also share any requests or any interest in collaborating with the participants. So please feel free to unmute yourself. This is supposed to be quite informal, and yeah, it's just a way of connecting with others and do a bit of informal networking. So if anyone would like to introduce themselves, also here, I'm not sure if
Yeah, I can.
okay, so
I'm not far away from the.
no, the mic is
Okay, perfect. Hi everyone, I'm Alexandre Lefebvre. I'm the director of La Ferme du Parc Maximilien. Like Nicole explained just before, we are very interested about this topic, especially about the link between the soil and urban farming. It's interesting for us because our farm will move in next few years. We have 1 hectare of land in the middle of Brussels, and we are moving only from for 600 meters. Also, it's not far away, but we will restart from a new white page, and it's huge opportunities to develop a living lab because the soil is quite polluted where we move, like where we are now, because we are in the middle of Brussels. Like everywhere, the soil is quite polluted, and we will remove the polluted soil on some parts where we will create new vegetable garden just directly in the soil, but we will also have our office with greenhouse on the rooftop and also vegetables garden on the rooftop with different kind of techniques. Also, I think it will be a very interesting place to build a living lab. And because we are in the middle of Brussels, we are also a good place to increase the communication about the importance of the soil, because we have a lot of visitors from business companies, from NGO, from schools, from university, also from huge institutions like European Commission, etc. We are very in the middle of all these actors and different kinds of citizens, because we are in a very poor area from Brussels, very difficult neighborhoods, but also next to business center, next to administration, commission, European Commission, and also next to a touristic area. Also, it's a very good place to put all this information to the citizen, available for the citizen. And we also just start a collaboration with FAO, and I think they will be interesting to be partners for this project. Also, we are looking for partners in different countries with educational backgrounds, co-creation backgrounds, something like this, or other similar problem or experience in urban farming like us, to build something together. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions? Steffi, please go ahead and unmute yourself. Yep.
Yes, thank you very much. Would it be possible that you can share your contact? I have not really understood your name, and this would be good. So maybe in the chat that we get your contact.
Yes, it's very easy to find. It's La Ferme du Parc Maximilien.
Can I share the email info?
Yeah, yes. And we will share the email in the chat, or the email of Nicole.
Thank you very much.
That's it.
Any other question?
Can we take a look at the slide presentations that were sent in, but where the presenters are not present?
I see that Hans
Bremer.
Bremer
Okay.
is here, so I will invite Hans to share and to pitch the organization and the work that is doing. If you want, I can share the presentation, or you can also share your screen. Just let me know.
Hello, everyone. Can you see me?
Yes.
Perfect. My colleague, Mr. Machalet, has sent you his presentation yesterday. Can you maybe show it?
I will just, yes, I will share it. Just a second. Okay.
Perfect.
It's loading, yes.
Thank you very much. So my name is Hans Bremer, and I'm from the University of Applied Sciences in Erfurt, Germany. And I'm very pleased to present my institution to you real quick. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So what are our main objectives, challenges, main activities? Our goal is to be or to offer to you our expertise as part of a regional living lab. And we have a very extensive regional and national network of partners that is ideally suited for setting up such a regional living lab. And we have a very modern, state-of-the-art laboratory here at our faculty in Erfurt. And it's also called the Thuringian Particle Size Laboratory. And this is, as I said, an innovative modern laboratory for the physical analysis of soil texture. And it combines the instrumental infrastructure and it combines a very unique infrastructure that is very seldom in the national and European research landscape. This laboratory combines several analytical methods for characterizing the physical and chemical properties of soils. The laboratory infrastructure is also characterized by a high degree of automation, and it allows large sample volumes to be measured as well in high resolution, which enables a much more precise field analysis of soils. And we are currently intensively working on further development of field and laboratory methods, and we develop prototypes together with partners from the bioscience industry, which are also available in our laboratory. And in addition to our laboratory, we can offer many hectares of experimental sites here at our campus in Erfurt, as well as greenhouses and other laboratory infrastructure. So next slide, please. Perfect. So what is our expertise and resources that we can offer you? We are part of a comprehensive regional network that includes state institutes and research institutes for agriculture, forestry, and nature conservation, but also municipalities and nature conservation institutions such as biosphere reserves or national parks. Our laboratory is involved in the development of an innovative scientific research and transfer infrastructure in central Germany to link the research areas of water, soil, and food. So there are three main programs at our faculty, and these are landscape architecture, forestry, and horticulture. And in the picture below, you can see our green campus with the main buildings. And in the right upper part, you can see the beginning of our experimental sites and some glass houses. Yes, and in front you can see our landscape park with very different kinds of plant species. So Erfurt is worth a visit. Next slide, please. Yes, in this picture you can see my colleague, Professor Dr. Björn Machalet, which you can contact as well as me. Our both email addresses are there on the slide, as you can see. And yes, as I said, we would like to offer you our expertise in a regional living lab, and we are experts on soil health, soil analysis, landscape ecology, landscape architecture, and we can also cover topics that belong to forestry and horticulture. So please feel free to contact us, and we are really looking forward to talk to you and to create a living lab together. So thank you very much, and you can ask questions if there are any left. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hans. Yes, I will open the floor to anyone that has questions. Steffi?
Thank you very much, Hans, for your presentation. I am from the Martin Luther University in Halle, so maybe we are not far away from each other, also located in Germany. I just was wondering if you also have experiences with contaminated sites. Could you also make measurements, also make probes which are contaminated with organic pollution?
We are not that experienced on that field, but I can offer you all our devices at our laboratory that covers pretty much everything that has to do with soil analysis. So we could even collaborate on this topic together if you want, but I think we would need to have further talks about this. And I have to involve my colleague, Mr. Machalet, as well, so that we can talk more precisely about this specific topic of contaminated soils.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to contact you later.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, any more questions? No. Thank you, Hans. Well, we have still some time, so again, I will open the floor to anyone who would like to briefly introduce the organization, work, and share their expertise or share which kind of expertise they are looking for. So please feel free to. Hey, Steffi?
Yeah, I would like. Yeah, I have not prepared a slide, I'm sorry for, but I would like to introduce shortly the university I work on and what we are researching on. So my name is Steffi Vormann. I am PhD, not student, I have my PhD, and I am working on soil particle and living soil parts interaction, so biogeo interaction, have you heard of it? Specifically in the rhizosphere. So how are, for example, contaminants are transported in this section, soil, water, and living part. And at the Halle University in the middle of Germany, we are in a territory where we have different problems. We have a heritage of organic contaminants and pollutions from former industry. And we have on the same time in this area a former mining area. So this is our problem, but it's a challenge, but it's also interesting how the inhabitants react on this and how they deal with it, because the region is not free of inhabitants. So there are still people living, they use their land, but we at the university have seen that this is still a big problem, the contamination in the soil. We are also in contact with different actors around, also regional actors in different levels. And what we want to do is to establish, or we would like to apply for a living lab also. And this is why I also was interested what Hans, the speaker before me, said, because Erfurt is not far away from Halle. This is also in a nearby region. It's in another county of Germany, but it is nearby. And what we are really looking for is on European level, on partners who maybe have also such a problem. What we have is organic pollution and also former mining area pollution. So we have anorganic and organic contamination. Yeah, and therefore it would be nice to find partners on EU level and maybe go in contact. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Steffi. Maybe I will invite you to write your email address in the chat if you agree, just for people to also, in case they would like to reach out to you. And I see that Nikolaus has you have your hand up.
Hello, everyone. Just to introduce myself, I'm Nikolaus. I'm one of the partners in the soil startup project. And as a soil expert, I'm working at Cranfield University in the UK. And here our job is to help and advise groups putting together consortia for the Horizon Soil Living Labs calls. And I'm very pleased and thank you very much for this event today. Because we can, I think that we can empower more local citizens to protect and restore soil health through practical actions, through education, and also through shared stories we discussed today, and creating some greener spaces and stronger community bonds in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikolaus. Anyone else would like to introduce themselves? Well, if not, we can go to our last part. It means that we will have a earlier lunch, but bear with me, it's just some information related to what Soil Startup offers. So I think this could be useful for you to get to know a bit more about the resources and tools that the project offers to applicants and to anyone interested in this topic. So I will just share my screen again. Okay. Let me just I hope you can see my screen. I'm just going to minimize. Okay, so yeah, this is the moment where we will explore a bit what the information that was mentioned before, but we will explore it more into detail. So we will take a closer look of what soil offers to applicants. And in this slide, you find an overview of what it, sorry, I'm just leaving this here because I think, well, it's just a title. I hope it's okay for those in person, but yeah. So this is, as I was saying, this is an overview of what it offers, and we can dive into a bit more into detail on which part. So there is this part related to sorry, I can't move my slides now for some reason. Okay, I will just stop sharing, sorry. Okay, and reshare again. Okay. Okay, yes, now it's working. So we have this part related to guidance, and then this includes some tailored guidance to help you navigate the funding process and submit strong proposals. We have some webinars, as mentioned before, that provided some insights on this. Again, we invite you to look at the recordings. There is also this part related to national mentors to coach you in the local language and guide you through the process. And then there is also this up-to-date information on the Living Lab concept, funding criteria, and implementation strategies that SOIL offers. We have this part related to matchmaking, and there is a matchmaking platform to connect with potential partners and develop proposals. So this is, in short, a tool to schedule meetings, join cross-regional or transnational clusters, and all actually post partnership needs. So a bit to facilitate this exchange and connection with potential partners. And I will ask my colleagues to share the links in the chat. Okay, I think they are doing it at the moment, but just in case you would like to have a look now, and then we will share everything together. Then the help desk. So there is a help desk available at the Soil Hub, which you can also access through this link or through the Soil website. And this is a central support feature open to all applicants. And it aims to be a space where there are clear answers to your questions about mission soil funding topics on living labs and proposal development. So you can access them, access this help desk and pose your questions there, and you will receive answers and some support that you request. And last but not least, there are the practical resources and trainings, and these include webinars. We have been talking about them a bit throughout this event, that there are several webinars available, some of them already took place and others are planned. And these offer in-depth insights and guidance on various aspects of soil health and funding. There are also some guidelines and recommendations to strengthen your application that are shared during these events. And there are also templates, so examples and best practices from existing soil health living labs and lighthouses. And there will be also fact sheets summarizing key funding topics and the land use types. And actually, this is events like the one that we are having today. It's also something that SOIL offers to applicants. And as you can see, there is one planned for September. There is one webinar planned for the end of this month. But if you access the website, you will be able to see all the activities planned, and we will share those in the website, but also on social media. So we invite you to also follow the soil channels to make sure that you are aware of these events and activities. And of course, everything will be available either on both on the YouTube of the Soil project, but also in the event webpage of each event. So you will have access to all the recordings and the materials, even post events. And I guess we are quite ahead of time, which is nice. But before really wrapping up and closing, I would just like to really highlight our invitation to be part of the soil community. So you can join and help us achieve our vision. And you can also join and have access to the resources that were just shared. And of course, your contributions will be very valuable. And we believe that there is a lot of room for connections between soil and the work that you are doing. And we are here to support you. And we hope that also you will be able to find other people that are interested in developing some work together, and you can explore those interests further after this event. And just as a final request for everyone is really to please complete the feedback form. We would really like to hear from you and have your feedback on how this event went, what can improve also for future events. So this is really valuable for us, and it won't take that much time. So if you have a couple of minutes, please make sure to answer this feedback survey. And I guess that's my final message. But you have here the contacts for soil, and I will just stop sharing just to see you all again in case there are any other questions or comments. And yeah, it was really a pleasure to spend this morning with all of you, and thank you so much for coming and for taking the time to join us both online and in person. And we hope to see you in future events and future initiatives. And as mentioned, we will send a follow-up email with the presentations and with the links, so that you can then revisit them when you wish to. And thank you also to the Trust IT team for the support, and for also the Soil Startup Partners for all the support, and for the EUFIC team that supported the organization of this event, and that facilitated the online session. So thank you so much to everyone. And yeah, if there are no questions or last comments, I guess we will see each other. We hope to see each other in a future opportunity.